So now I have the privilege of introducing you to Garrett Rice. Garrett is somebody, and I don't even know how I met him, but it was really interesting to kind of, understand a little bit more about Callings.ai. And it's like AI doing job search. Who doesn't want AI involved in their job search, especially with how difficult it's been? Well, I met Garrett and I was absolutely blown away. I mean, number one, the guy is super interesting and he's got an amazing career in technology, working with really impressive companies. And he's a creator and he's a tinkerer, you can tell, right? But he's done so many things. He's a published writer, he's a speaker, he's an award-winning video and film producer. And and then he is so passionate about this tool that he and his partner built. And it's really amazing. I've had an opportunity to dink around with it a bit, and it's impressive. And we know right now what's happening in the economy, people need help with their job search. It's, whether it's finding those opportunities that match your skill set or figuring out how to best position yourself. This tool is really impressive, and Garrett's going to share more with us. But just the whole need for AI in your job search. It's not the job search of 5 years ago or even 3 years ago. This is a new job search that people are going through, and we have to be equipped with the tools that can help us. And Garrett, I'm turning it over to you. We're really excited about this.
Well, thank you, Christy. I'm really honored to be here. You guys can hear me okay, hopefully. Um, what a perfect setup too, because that's what I'm going to talk about is the modern job hunt, how much it's changed, and how AI, has to be at the center point of any job hunt going forward. So I'm gonna actually put some slides up, and you guys can let me know if you see those okay. Um,
We see them.
Awesome. So let's talk about the job hunt. If you're looking for a job, there's some things you need to know. The first and most important thing is that the job hunt has changed just in the last 5 to 7 years dramatically. Um, it used to be that jobs were geofenced. So if you were applying for a job, say in Silicon Valley, which is where I'm based, you really had to live here because you had to go into the office and otherwise they'd have to move you here and there would have to be expenses covered and that type of thing. And that's changed thanks to Zoom and the pandemic and everything else and hybrid and remote work. That's no longer the case. Jobs are being competed for globally, every job. And so it's made things much more competitive. And that's led to an applications explosion. So I'll talk about that in a bit, but companies are getting swamped with job applications. And then the companies to deal with that have put up these HR system barriers, applicant tracking or ATS systems that have increasingly removed people from the job hunt process. You go into an HR system where you're not considered. Companies, because they're being overwhelmed, they don't even bother to respond or be polite anymore. They just ghost you. If you don't somehow make the final cut, that you never hear from them, which is very frustrating for job seekers. And you just have to recognize that this is going to happen. LinkedIn is saturated. It's a tool for social media. It's a tool for sales. And so it's increasingly difficult to contact people and have sort of normal conversations because people are just getting hit up so much. And then because of AI, there's a lot of fake job posts or job posts that are still up, which are really closed. And then there's resume spam, which is people are applying in droves to jobs. And so this makes for a credibility gap in the job hunt now, where people are less likely to trust the information that they're receiving. So that's the background. And here's what it looks like for you if you're a job seeker. Your job hunt is going to last 5 months or more. The more white collar you are, the closer that's going to be to a year. These are averages. So some of you might get a job right away. Some of you might be looking very long. The average job hunt, it probably means you're going to have to spend about 10 hours a week looking. You're going to submit 50 or more resumes out to job opportunities to really be considered. This is an old statistic, about 5 or 6 years old. We think this number is closer to 100 now. When you apply, you're going to be competing at minimum with about 250 other applicants. And if it's a popular company, thousands. The average job seeker is using 16 different tools and services right now. And I'm a football fan, and this may not mean anything to some of you, but there's a famous expression, which is if you have two quarterbacks in training camp, you have no quarterbacks. In other words, if you haven't found a tool that's really helping you get a job, then and you're using 16, it means you haven't found a good tool. And then the final thing is when you submit, your application is going to be evaluated by these applicant tracking systems, and 75% of the time, you're never going to be seen by a human being. And I think that's the big tragedy of the modern job hunt, because really human beings are the people that have to do the hiring and make the decisions. And so that's just the background. I don't tell that to you to bum you out. I just want you to know, so you don't, it's a very stressful time looking for a job, and you should just be aware of this so that you don't have unrealistic expectations. This is just the reality of the process. And kind of like if you're training for a marathon, you have to run a lot. If you're doing a job hunt, you have to deal with these things. So um, that being said, AI is now essential to the success of a job hunt because it has to help you cut through the noise, which AI does. Find the right opportunities, for example. It helps automate many of the painful steps that I've described and that I will go into in detail. It empowers personalization at scale, and it levels the playing field because the hiring side is moving to AI as well. So it's going to be part of your job hunt. Don't be afraid of it. It doesn't bite. It actually can help you. Think of the job hunt, and this is the sort of as I walk through this and start showing you the tools that we offer. At the core of it, I think it's important that you recognize that a job hunt is a sales process, and you are the product that you're selling, and you're the salesperson too. The company is the customer. The sales tools are things like LinkedIn profiles, resumes, cover letters, endorsements, outreach messaging. Those are your sales tools to get in front of your customer. And the interview, what you're aiming for is your sales pitch. So I encourage you to keep that in mind because you need to go through a workflow in the sales process, and those are the steps, right? And I'll talk about that. You need to create and articulate a personal brand, which means you need to understand yourself. Who am I? What are my skills? What are my value propositions? Why do people want to hire me? You need to find a lot of matching job opportunities so that you can pursue job opportunities you're qualified for. You need to personalize applications to those jobs at scale, but they need to still be you. You need to network like crazy, which has been true forever in the job hunt, but even more so now. And then you need to prepare in detail for the interviews. And so you need to do that and rinse and repeat. And AI can help you build your sales funnel. And if any of you have ever done sales, I haven't been in sales for a while, but I started my career in sales. I didn't love sales, but it was a valuable experience to have because you understand the concept of a funnel, which is you can't close everybody that you talk to about your product. You reach out and talk to a lot of people. A lesser number of them might call you back and talk to you. An even lesser number of them are willing to hear about your product, and an even less number of them are willing to consider buying it, et cetera. And the same is true for a job hunt. You need to pursue a lot of opportunities at the top. That's kind of awareness of you and your product, you out in the marketplace. You need to submit to a lesser number, the ones that you think you really would like to pursue, which are your job applications. And then you need to network to those to actually get consideration. And then hopefully some of those will invite you in for an interview, which is a sales pitch. And that's the intent. That is to say that they like you. If you get an interview, it means they like you. It doesn't mean you'll get the job, but it generally is a really good sign. And then, obviously, at the decision point, you're going to get offers if you fill your funnel properly. And so I encourage you to keep these concepts in mind so it doesn't drive you crazy, right? You're going to do a lot of stuff at the top where you get ghosted. You don't hear about the best way to think of it is that's my sales funnel, and I haven't, and I got to matriculate at least some of them through to the lower steps. Here's how the compounding effect of a funnel will help you. And I'm going to show you how to do this on our platform, right? One of the concepts we've done with Callings is to build this in. If in your 5 months you have 20 weeks, that's 100 days, assuming you don't work on weekends, and you probably shouldn't, right? Like if you overstress on a job hunt, it makes it worse. So, if you're working 5 days a week, a few hours a day on your job hunt, that gives you 100 days in your job hunt. And if you make 5 job applications a day, in your 100 days, you'll apply to 500 jobs. And statistically, you're probably in good shape to get a job if you do that. If you think about it as I have to apply to 500 jobs, you're going to go crazy. If you can think of it to apply to 5 jobs a day, then it's manageable. And then the final thing is if you apply to 500 jobs, you're in the stack in there and you have 3 contacts per job that you've reached out to, you've made 1,500 new contacts. And that means that you've expanded your network in an enormous way. So, keep that in mind. Albert Einstein said that, the effects of compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. He didn't mean it necessarily for the job hunt, but I think it applies. So as you look at AI options, I encourage everybody to use these general AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. You've got to understand AI is changing the world and you need to be in on it, right? If you know how to use fire, and it's 10,000 years ago, you're an advanced human being. And if in the modern environment, if you know how to use AI effectively, you're going to be an advanced person. We feel like the tool that I'm about to show you offers advantages over general AI for job hunting. We know people who use it similar to the way that what we do on our platform. It's just you have to do it manually and one by one. And we have a workflow system built into ours. We do a better job of finding jobs and telling you how closely you match to them because we have job inventory. We have a built-in formatting and keyword alignment around ATS optimizations. We actually do proactive networking and find contacts for you to reach out to, which the general AI doesn't do as well. And of course, we do everything like tracking and we provide a CRM for your system. So see, these are some of the advantages that we think we offer against general AI, but it's all amazing stuff. And I'll add a few notes on networking before I jump into the product, because networking is what leads to success. You can't do it alone. You have to do all the other steps, but networking is the essential piece in a job hunt. 70 to 80% of all successful job hunts have some form of networking. Referrals make you 4 times as likely to get hired because you're a piece of paper until somebody says that you're great. And so that human recommendation is probably more valuable than ever in a world in which we're overwhelmed with AI content because everybody's content looks good now. So you have to be referred by a live human being. Companies prefer referred candidates. Oftentimes, companies ask for referred candidates from their employees and pay their employees if referred candidates get hired. So keep that in mind. When you're reaching out to people, it's hard to reach out to strangers, but keep this in mind. They might be getting paid to recommend you if they like you. So that turns it around a little bit. You're not bothering them. You're potentially making them money. Not everybody, but that's a way to think about when you're reaching out to networking candidates. Because a lot of people, myself included, feel guilty almost about bugging somebody. And it helps to think about it that I might actually be bringing them money. If I'm a great candidate and I get hired, they might get paid. Acquaintances often, strangely, yield the best results, maybe even more than your close friends, because they're more likely to be considered objective reviewers of you. So get those secondary outreaches. They might actually help you a lot. In the same way that Christy has led me here through my acquaintance contacts with her. And then follow-ups double your chances of a reply. So reach out once and then follow up. Don't bug them. Don't follow up 20 times and become an obsessive stalker. Just give them a couple chances to respond to you. And networking should always follow all job applications you make, because a job application is a resume in a pile, but a networking contact at that company is the person that will take your resume out of the pile and show it to the hiring manager. And then you become not a resume, but a real human being in their eyes. So those are sort of best practices for job hunting that I throw out there for everybody. And with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over and show you Callings.ai. So my partner and I met while we were looking for a job hunt. We were horrified at the state of job hunting tools and capabilities for helping people get a job. And we've spent the last 2 years working on an AI-powered total job hunt platform to help people get their next role. And it's all around the things we know that you actually take action on. So let me show you kind of how it works. So in our platform, when you upload your resume, uh-oh, there was a bit of a, okay, sorry, there was an echo there for a moment, but I think I'm back to okay. You still hear me okay? Fantastic. So on our platform, we don't demand, but we ask that you upload your resume, and we keep it private. We don't share it with anybody, but we use that information to power up our AI to help you. And so this is a resume that I've uploaded, Jonathan Doe. It's based on my resume. And when you upload your resume into our platform, the first thing we do is we build a rich text version of your resume. As much as you love that resume with the purple dinosaur watermark on it, it's going to get scraped when you submit at a company. And that all that structuring and data is lost. And oftentimes, formatting will mess up the ATS systems and affect your chances. So we build you a very clean, rich text resume, which we know and have tested will get through all the systems that these HR systems run. So once we do that, we provide you the first set of tools that we think can help you, which is we provide these resume assessment tools. So using artificial intelligence, we read your resume and give you a 6-second verdict on what we think about it. This resume immediately signals a seasoned, high-impact product and partnership leader. We articulate to you back your immediate strengths from the resume and potential red flags. And these are just ways to make your resume better. We tell you what we think your resume says about you, which is oftentimes helpful because it's very hard to evaluate yourself as yourself. We provide a scorecard where your resume is strong and weak. You'll notice that mine is weak on quantifiable achievements. All right. So I improved blah, 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 38.6%. Companies like that because at a glance, they can see how you're going to help them. So this gives you a chance to improve your resume. We also do peer benchmarking against resumes similar to yours in the market to give you a sense where you stand out and where you have gaps. So these are all ways to make your resume better, which we know is part of the job hunt process. You can then go down here to these 5 areas for potential improvements. And if I click on the impacts metrics, that's the thing that I didn't do well. I can then hit, let's work on the selected topics with the AI editor, and we will launch an AI system in which we look at the resume and we call out questions that we ask you. And if you just simply answer the questions, we'll rebuild your resume. And in this case, it says, can you provide for your consulting that you were doing actionable data about the success that you've made? And when I type that in, it's going to add it to my resume. So I won't do that because that takes maybe a few minutes, but it gives you a sense that you can use Callings first and foremost to get your products, your product brochure, which is what a resume is started, your brochure. And so I encourage you to play around with this. It's sort of a supplement to what maybe a career coach will help you with in terms of getting your resume up to speed. The second thing that we do, again, around this idea of helping you understand yourself, is after we read your resume or your LinkedIn profile, and you can use either, we go out and we we read your resume and we generate a series of reports based on what your resume, what are your goals, your ideal job, your persona and brand elements. And we also generate a series of questions that are customized to you. If you take the time to answer these questions, and mine are things like what types of partnerships have been most rewarding for you to develop, or how do you envision strategic alliances in your next role? Or on the product side, what aspects of product management do you find most fulfilling? If I take the time to answer these questions, we will build these highly detailed reports that will help you in your job hunt. The first one is will help you break down what your needs, wants, and goals are in your job hunt. And this is essential because if you don't know what you want out of a job, it's going to be hard to find it or be successful if you get it. So based on my answers in my resume, the things that are most important to me are the role, the responsibilities, and the industries that I'm in. Less important is career growth and culture, only because I feel like I can evaluate those only by talking to them. And so what these do is help you get a sense, and people ask you these questions. What are your goals? What are your needs and wants? Boom, we help you suss those answers out for yourself. The second thing we generate is an ideal job report. And this is helpful because sometimes it's difficult for us to articulate what it is we really want. But by answering these questions and looking at your resume, we can help you come up with what the ideal job is. And for me, it's something like a VP of Strategic Alliances or product innovation role. And there's details about the responsibilities and qualifications. And by the way, we use this information to go out and look for jobs that are a match for you, which I'll talk about in just a bit. So that's all built in, and this report is there. You can regenerate it if you change your resume. You can put your own notes into it by hitting this edit button here. So you have an ideal job. We also help you identify what your personas are, which are the types of things you can do in your next role. So for me, I'm either an innovation architect, a strategic alliance builder, or a creative catalyst. And then AI describes what we mean by that. And these are oftentimes helpful because like people not only ask you who you are, but they ask like, what are you going to do for us? Well, here they are. I'm an innovation architect. I can help you build a more innovative product group inside your company. And then the final one, which we think is maybe the most important, is we help you build your brand elements. When you go out for a job hunt, people ask questions like, well, tell me who you are. Tell me about yourself. Or, tell me what your skills are. And these are hard questions to answer unless you've trained your sales process, right? If they hit you with those and you're not prepared, you have to, well, I've done this. And so we know that. And so what we've done is we've taken your answers and your resume and we've helped you. We're going to help you by building personal brand elements like a 20-second elevator pitch. Who am I? I'm an innovative product leader with 25 years of experience in strategic alliances, product management, and marketing. So you say something like that, it sounds more professional. And so we build this for you. We give you a longer one, a 2-minute pitch, which highlights maybe more of the details. And these are things you can study, practice, and the next time somebody asks you these questions, you've got it. If you're in an elevator with somebody, you got it. Um, a professional summary, which you can use on LinkedIn or in your resume. We give you headlines, which are oftentimes helpful. And these are all things like you're at a party. Well, quickly tell me, what are you good at? Here you go. Here are things that you can look at. And I encourage you to take these and put them in your own words. But once you've trained yourself on these things, you're going to come across 1,000 times more professional. What makes me unique? These are really helpful because these are common questions in an interview. Well, what makes you stand out? Well, let me tell you, I have 10 of them right here. And by the way, a lot of people on our platform print these out and have them right next to them. You're not going to memorize them all at once. You can just keep working on them as you go. And then, here are my top 10 skills. And these oftentimes should be in my resume. They should be listed on my LinkedIn profile. I should be articulating these. And then, my top 10 achievements. And these are all things that come up in interviews, when you're networking, and boom, you've got this report right there. So at a high level, these are things that help you tell your story and your brand, and we help you generate those. So now let's get to the real meat of it, which is you want to go and look for a job. So I'm going to hit this job tracker here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So the core of Callings is this job tracker. When we talked to job seekers, they were all building spreadsheets to track their job hunt, almost everybody. And it wasn't a happy process for them. And so one of the first things we built in our platform is a CRM to track your whole job hunt. So you don't need to build a spreadsheet. It's very powerful. You can search, you can sort with it, you can click on columns to search and sort that way. Our goal is that this CRM helps you track everything in one place. We on our platform find jobs for you, but we also support you bringing in jobs you find anywhere else. So we have an extension over here that you can install um, on a Chrome browser so you can bring in jobs from Indeed or from LinkedIn. We also have this add jobs manually button. So if you found a job or somebody sends you a job, you can add the job and the URL onto the tracker. And for all of them, we generate these job match scores, which I'm going to go into in a bit. So think of this as your home base for your job hunt. I'm going to click on this button, find matching jobs. When you uploaded your resume, we immediately go out and look at millions of jobs and try and find job matches for you. And using that, using the reports that we've made, we're looking for jobs where you're highly qualified and you're likely to get through the applicant tracking system. And so we show you that and we give you a match score. Right now, the resume that I uploaded is a 80% match for this Palo Alto Networks job. And then I can look at a glance at these jobs and decide whether I want to pursue them. And I can just hit add to my tracker. Don't show again. Add to my tracker. Don't show again. And you can search and sort or edit on the preferences here. You can change, for example, how many miles from where you are. You can type in plain English things about the job hunt. And these are all steering mechanisms for our search to help you find better matches. And I'm going to actually close that. But once I've done that, I've added jobs into my tracker here. And this is where you get to your 50 jobs. For each of these jobs, you can dive into them and really explore them. And so I'm going to go in and hit this. There's this Adobe job that's interesting that I found. And so I'm going to hit that one. And when I click on it, it takes me into tools for this specific job. So right now, I'm not working on all 50 of those jobs. I'm working on the Principal Product Manager, Developer Experience, and API platform at Adobe. The first thing we bring up is this Evaluate tab. Oh, here's the published job post that Adobe sent out. Highly encourage you to read that because that's what they're asking for and you should familiarize yourself with it. On the right-hand side, we've pulled out things like company information, requirements and benefits, skills that you have to have showing on your resume to be considered. This is a pro tip here. If these things aren't listed on your resume, you're probably not going to get through their applicant tracking system because that's all most applicant tracking systems do is they scrape keywords out of a job post and then look for them on resumes. ATS systems can be really brain dead. So, we'll talk about how we can help you get them there, but these are the skills that they want to see on resumes. And then here's compensation. The next thing that we provide is our job fit report, which is one of the most, it's never a demo if things don't crash. Wow, that's interesting. Let me see if I can't find one where the job fit report has already been generated. That's very interesting. Well, there seems to be a bug on that today. What we generally do, and it works every time I've demoed up until this point, is we generate a detailed report for you on this job. So we look at it and we say, for this job, how do you fit? Where do you not fit? Where are you strong and weak? There you go. Right. So here's the pros of my candidacy for this job, the cons of my candidacy, and the conclusion. Here are details. All right. In the industry, I'm 100% match. Primary responsibilities, 95% match. So this gives you a sense of where you're good and bad, where you're strong and weak. This is one of the most popular features on the platform because it helps people evaluate jobs. So I encourage you to look at those as well. We provide a company report. And I think the Adobe one was actually already generated. So I'm going to go back to that Adobe job and just see. Um, it looks like we're having some issues today, which is I had actually looked at this all this morning. Um, so here's Adobe, right? Here's their logo, how they articulate themselves. We provide the Glassdoor rating in detail right inside of our platform, so you can see where they're strong and weak on things like opportunities, management, work-life balance. We go out and scrape all the latest news so that you can read up on them. Never go into an interview without reading up on the latest news for a company. They may test you on it. And so this is your way of preparing and evaluating this job opportunity. If you decide to apply, you click on the Prepare tab, and we generate a custom resume and cover letter for you based on your resume. We explain to you where you match, where you mismatch, and our tailoring strategy. And then here's the custom resume specific for this job. I'm going to go ahead and hit Edit Custom Resume, and it will bring up the details of what we changed. And just like with tracking on in Microsoft Word, you'll see that what in green is what we've rewritten from what was on the original resume, and we explain why we rewrote it. This is a word processor, so you can go in and make changes if you don't like what we've done. And if you hit Accept, we start building a new resume for you. Maybe I like my original for this. Accept. I highly recommend down here in skills that you hit accept, because we're going to add all the skills that the ATS systems are looking for. And with that, you have an entirely new resume for this job. Read it, make certain there's no hallucinations or we haven't added something that isn't true. We're careful about that, but it's always good to review. This is, again, a full word processor, so you can retype anything you like, add your own stuff, and boom, you have a custom resume in just a few minutes for this role. I'm going to hit save. This resume is going to go in. It will give me an opportunity to download that as a PDF. I'm going to go in here to custom cover letter, and we generate a custom cover letter for you as well. Our goal is the blank page is the hard problem. I used to sit in front of my computer for an hour staring at a blank screen to write a cover letter because I was like, what do I say? Our goal here is to give you a first draft. You can rewrite it any way you like, but it's going to be much easier for you with the first draft. If you hit Edit with AI, we bring up that same AI interface that I showed you on the resume tool before, and you can just prompt in what you want. So I'm going to say, translate this into the Italian language. And say, for example, you find out somebody on the hiring side is Italian and you're going to reach out to them. I don't think this is a good in practice, but it's great for the demo. What you'll see is that our AI is going to go and look at this letter. It's going to evaluate it, and then it's going to translate it into an entirely different language. Generally, what our users do is they type in, make it more informal, mention the fact that my dog is just like the dog the hiring manager has, based on looking at a social media profile that you've stalked, that type of thing. And as you can see here, it didn't work. Wow, the demo gods are not with me today. I don't know why it didn't do that. I'm going to power through and show it to you because let's see if it works. But there's many things. I often use this tool to shorten the letter because in the modern environment, you have to understand that though most companies want to see, there we go, gentile responsabile delle selezione. So I don't know if any of you speak Italian, but you can fact check it. But it gives you a sense of how powerful AI can be, which is that it really can do almost anything you want. So you can just prompt to get the type of cover letter you want. Most cover letters initially are not read. They go into the system and the applicant tracking system. They're almost usually read after they've accepted you. But strangely, in this weird environment we're in, if you don't have it, after you get through the applicant tracking system, the recruiter, the hiring manager might get mad at that point. So So with that, I'm going to save my cover letter. I can print it as a PDF.
Thing that is interesting is that in Italian, AI is intelligenza artificiale. Also, it's not AI, it's IA, right? And the system says no, right? So that would be a small problem. But as you say, you wouldn't use this in a real scenario.
You might, but then probably, you would probably vet that letter pretty carefully. That's fascinating feedback, though. Um, I knew there was going to be one person out there that spoke Italian. So download the PDFs and apply for the job, right? So we'll take you out to where the application process is, and you can apply for it. The next step, and everything is breaking today. I had already checked on this morning, and what we then do, the platform does, is we go out and we start looking for candidates for you. So once your resume is inside the system, you're in a pile, as I mentioned before. And that is not really, your odds are low. You're at very minimum about 101 in 250 to get through. And so I'm going to go ahead and just refresh this page. It seems like for some reason our system is down today, which is, of course, always the case when you do a demo. And now my network is down. It's not even.
I just checked the app and it's down.
Okay. Let me try something here. I'm gonna see if I can go to our dev build and see if maybe I'll have more success there.
While you're doing that, there's a couple of comments. I spoke with somebody last night. I had mentioned that I was speaking at a PIRA event, an HR event, in Pasadena last night. And somebody had said that they'd used all of these different AI tools for job search. And they were really interested in this. But somebody in the chat said that, they're using another tool, but it's not nearly as robust as this. I don't know anything about the other tools, but your point earlier was so many people are tracking this manually,
Yeah.
and it's pretty impressive how everything just comes together with this.
It most of the times does. I'm struggling today. It looks like the system's down. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing for a bit. My partner is checking on the system now, and also I won't have you stare at a screen that isn't doing anything until I can get it up again. This is rare, but that's the way demos go. I apologize.
It's technology. It occasionally doesn't want to be our friend.
Yeah.
So
No, the demo gods always come after you at some point.
yeah.
So what usually works, and what I would usually have shown you at that point, is after you apply, we use AI to go out and look at LinkedIn and find the jobs, find the people who are not only at the company, but are actually working in the area connected to the job that you're looking at. So we're 1 minute away from emergency reboot taking effect. So in our plan on this is there's many types of networking, right? So there's the networking that you have to do yourself, which is called passive networking, in which you reach out to all your friends and family and contacts and business associates and let them know that you are looking for a job, right? And there's no intent there, right? You're hoping that they'll bring you opportunities, make introductions for you, et cetera. And then there's serendipitous networking, in which you go out and you talk to the people that you know, that you don't know, and you go to networking events or parties. And there you're really practicing that sales pitch that I was showing you earlier. Hi, my name is Garrett Rice. It's a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, I'm out looking for my next opportunity. Of course I'm not desperate. I'm very discerning. I'm looking, I'm definitely going to land a job and I'm just looking for what's coming next. And so I'm just meeting people and letting them just try and understand what's out there. So that's serendipitous networking. And that often works very well because somebody will say, "Oh, you're interested in looking at a marketing job. My cousin owns a company and they're looking for somebody in marketing." Um, so all of those opportunities you can do to sort of generally get the word out. What we do is targeted networking. And so our goal is to find people for a specific job that you're pursuing. And our goal there is to help you reach out to those people and say, "I'm interested in this specific job." Um, so we're halfway up, but all of the data hasn't reloaded yet. So uh, a few other things that we do. Yeah, it's still down.
There's a couple things. There's some questions that I think you can
Yeah, and let's go through
answer
the
without.
questions. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
So how does Callings AI source job opportunities? Do they do it from LinkedIn, company websites, or other sources? You scour everything.
Yeah, we use a number of sources for our jobs, including Google. And and so some of our jobs we currently you may go to another place because that's where we found the job. We don't love that. And so in the next 45 days, I'm excited to announce that we are going to dramatically overhaul our job inventory. We're going to have 8 million jobs a month, which puts us on the same category
Wow.
as Indeed and LinkedIn. All of our jobs coming up are going to be jobs that are at hiring company sites. So we're going to scrape over 2 million hiring companies globally every single day and find jobs in which when you apply, you're going to be applying right at the hiring company site. We're super excited about this because we're not aware that anybody has that type of inventory. So we're going to go, we feel like we're going to have the best job inventory of any job system out there. And in addition to that, because we're going to know what changes every day, we'll be able to let you know if a job gets pulled. We're not going to have the kind of job spam that a lot of the other sites have. The reason job spam exists is because most job systems are ad networks. And so they get paid not by getting you a job, they get paid by getting your eyeballs and clicks on those jobs. And so they'll post a job that's old because they're still getting paid for it, even though the job has been full. And that's why you get these ghost jobs, these jobs that zombie jobs. So we're not going to have any of that. And that's all happening, we hope, by November. Um, and so we're very excited about that. I'll answer.
There's a net. Yeah, there's
Does it
another
speak
question.
Hawaiian? The short answer is
Oh,
no, but maybe.
so
I
somebody
need
asked, is
that.
there a way to migrate from other tools or spreadsheet into Callings AI?
Right now, one at a time. So you can copy the links and we'll bring the jobs in for you. This has been something people have asked, and we're looking into a way to make that, but we don't currently have that.
Okay.
We've had people say, "Hey, I have a spreadsheet, and I'd love for you to bring that information in," because every single spreadsheet is its own design and structure. We haven't come up with a way to do that effectively yet. But
Garrett, you need to sell your company to LinkedIn for $1 billion.
from your lips to God's ears, isn't that the expression? I
But wait a
You
minute.
got to
We
reach out
want
to
to.
Reid Hoffman, baby.
Don't stop at $1 billion. It's worth more than that.
Hey, I'd be happy with $1 billion, so I figured he might too. So that's just my number. I just throw
Yeah,
darts.
yeah. Well, I certainly be open
Yeah.
to that
And
discussion.
I'm with Daniel. LinkedIn will make it awful and unaffordable. That's, it's kind of my experience anyway,
Yeah.
my opinion.
Stay independent,
So
stay free.
Here's the thing I do want to say about LinkedIn. We're LinkedIn's best friend. LinkedIn is the owner of our business graph, right? As our business social graph. That's everybody's business social graph is in LinkedIn. So, our intention is that LinkedIn's going to be here for a very long time. what we are focused on that I don't think LinkedIn is really capable of doing is focusing specifically on the job hunter workflow, because they have so many other constituencies that they need to deliver on, recruiters, advertising companies, and the like, right? And that's the downside of any big behemoth, right? Is they get pulled in a lot of different directions, and so we are laser focused on job seekers, and that allows us to be very direct about the types of tools we're building. But we look at that database, we look at LinkedIn, we help, we know that you're going to use it. We integrate with it to bring in your LinkedIn profile to help, to build these tools for you. We go out and use LinkedIn's social graphs so that we can find the people, that are networking contacts for every role that you pursue. So all of that is, that's how we work with them, and pretty successfully, hopefully. Daniel Fresquez says, can
Yeah.
I ask which large language model you're using in the background, or is that proprietary? No, I'll tell you. So we use a number of them, is the short answer, for a variety of different things. We use OpenAI, we use Gemini, we use Perplexity, and the reason is each one of them does something better or worse in specific areas. So our resume tool, we use the APIs from OpenAI and a lot of custom programming and prompting. For the company information, we use Perplexity because they're more accurate in finding real information on the internet. And we use, a variety of other large language models for optimized work on different tasks. So we use them all.
You and I had a conversation earlier this week. Is so many people put in job search stuff, and they're getting jobs that are not what they think that they searched for, right?
Yep.
And so can you talk a little bit about making sure that your search criteria is refined enough?
Yeah, and this is another thing along with the job inventory that we're excited that we're going to have some exciting things to share with you in the next 45 days. But right now, we've been effective, and we get a lot of feedback, right? By the way, nobody's completely satisfied with the job feeds that they get from any platform, because it's impossible to read your mind on exactly what you want. But we do get a lot of compliments because we take the time to read your resume, to ask you questions. It gives us a semantic map of generally what you're looking for. And then because we're not so most jobs boards use what's called Boolean or keyword-based searching. And so the way that works is if you're a product manager, you type in product manager, and it's either or. It goes out and it looks at all the jobs, and if the title of the job doesn't say product manager, it won't show it to you. And this, classic example is I worked at Apple for years. At Apple, if you're a product manager, your official title is product marketing manager. And that's because at Apple, not only do you have the inbound working with engineering, you also have the outbound working with customers. Many other companies split those two roles. So you won't find a product manager role at Apple on a traditional Boolean system because it won't have the right name. And that's the limitation. What we do is semantically look at the job post and compare all the details of your resume and then find that match score. And that's how we match you. And the result is that generally we do a better job of finding jobs that you're really qualified for and sort of holistically match with what you're looking with than these other boards. And we get a lot of compliments for that. Is it perfect? No. For every 10 jobs we find, there's going to be 2 that you're like, what? But our feeling is generally that if you're a veterinarian, we're not finding you a job that's a coal miner job. And that can sometimes happen with these strange Boolean searches. So we feel pretty good about that. Coming soon, we're going to give you much more powerful prompting tools to find with more detail exactly what you're looking for. I won't go into detail on that other than to say that's coming. So, yeah, so somebody, Pamela posted, sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Christy.
Oh, well, actually, after we get to Pamela's, let's talk about the cost of Callings.ai. I know people are curious.
Sure. So first and foremost, for everybody on this call, you're going to get the first 30 days for free. Our pricing is about $30 a month. If you sign up for the 6-month or 1-year contracts, and 60% of our subscribers go to those, they're 33 and 50% discounts respectively. So we discount a lot if you're willing to make a longer term commitment on our platform. And we feel that, you know, these are affordable for somebody looking for a job, right? This isn't going to break you. This is you know, less than a cup of Starbucks coffee, you know, a week almost. So so hopefully pretty affordable.
And so let's also talk about, because, you know, there's people who are connected to HR individuals. Really, for Callings.ai, I mean, companies can leverage this, you know, for their
Yes,
employees that they're outsourcing
that's right. So
or outplacing, you know,
that's right.
laying off.
So we have a powerful partnership with a company called Kept. They have done some of the coolest stuff on Cobra in the industry. And so when somebody departs a company, um, it's bad for the company, right? They trash the company. They're upset. Sometimes they sue. And so we've partnered with Cobra to provide a solution for companies to provide for outplacement and for offboarding, in which the departing employee with one dashboard sees all of the benefits that they have continuing after they depart from a Cobra perspective, opportunities to improve or upgrade their insurance, and then also to have full access to our platform for up to 2 years until they get their next job. We provide other benefits on the enterprise side, like coaching, that we do provide coaching as well on our platform via video, but we provide more for the outplacement customers. We sell this either as an a la carte offering, or we sell it as a subscription insurance type product, in which they pay a very low amount, about $1.50 per employee per month, and anybody who departs the company gets covered with our platform. So they have a place to go to find their next role. They're not abandoned, a place where they can improve their resume, tell their story, and go find their next role. And so, so if you're on the HR side, you know, we're always looking to talk to people who are interested in these types of solutions. And I'll just say for this group, if you make those introductions, we'll find a way commission-wise to make it worth your while.
Okay. And so you said that okay, I'm going to push the envelope a little bit with you, Garrett.
Sure.
You had said that all these changes are coming out in 45 days, but there's we can sign up for a free version for 30 days. Can you make that maybe 45 days so that people can get the new?
Well,
I know I'm asking for a lot.
Yeah, well, the good news is, and this is important for you all to hear, searching for jobs, saving jobs, and applying for jobs are free forever on our platform.
Oh.
So you know, you don't have to worry that if you save 20 jobs and stop paying, you're going to not have access to that. The things that we charge for are all the AI generation, because that's what cost us money. So the tools that I mentioned are actually they're all coming for free. So so you'll be able to use AI to do searching against our huge new job inventory, and whether you choose to pay us for the advanced features or not, you'll still be able to do all of that. So so you'll be fine. And the reason we know that is that, you know, nobody wants their stuff held hostage, and so we don't want to do that. What we want is for people to be excited about these advanced features that we offer, and be wanting to pay for them because they help their job search.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
Pamela asked an
Dave.
interesting question.
Can I interrupt?
Let me finish Pamela's question, and then
Okay.
I'll answer yours.
Thank you.
She said applications to interview conversions. So apparently some of our competitors claim applications to interview conversion rates. I'm just going to say this: I'm highly skeptical of that. And the reason why is job seekers don't report back to where they're getting job information. So the only way that's coming is through surveys, which are unreliable for that data. So I don't fully believe that anybody can track effectively yet how their candidates are doing. We have some ideas on how we can really close the loop on that, but we're yet to see that from any of the other platforms. That being said, what we know, the research does suggest is your conversion rate to interview is going to be high if you're networking to the jobs. That's how it works. There's no trick. And of course, everybody hates networking, and it's right up there with fear of heights and drowning in terms of people's anxiety is to talk to strangers. So so networking is hard. But if you can get into a habit of doing it in a depersonalized fashion where you're just sending messages out, once they respond, it's much easier. And so you got to network. That's how you're going to get a job. That question.
It'd be interesting. So Evie AI was a tool that we had. So if you take the Evie AI process and Callings.ai between applications and networking, I mean, it could be a wonderful ecosystem, right?
Yeah, that's our hope. That's
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, okay, we're out of time, but unless Daniel has a really quick question. But
I'm happy to
have a hard
stay on
stop.
for. I've got more time, so I'm happy to stay on if you all are.
Yeah, we can't. So Daniel, quick question.
I just wanted to clarify what you said. It was something along the lines of that you said using the search and applying will be accessible
Yeah.
for a long period of time, and that will be for the 45 days you're bringing in this large group of companies, which sounds amazing.
No, just to be clear, we never, you don't, other than asking that you register with us, we never put finding job opportunities and saving them and tracking them and organizing them. We never charge for that. And the new features that I described, which is the much larger jobs database, the higher quality jobs database, and AI search, all of that is going to remain completely free forever for any user. So
great. Now,
Thank you.
we can send out the code for the free 30
yeah,
days.
I can show you that just so that they can read it.
Yep.
Let me put that up. So it's simply going to the URL callings.ai/PRG. And that should provision you with 30 days free. So if you go there, don't panic. Basically, it'll look the same. And then when you register your account, we automatically remember this and provision you with a 30-day free access. If you have any problems, I am Garrett, Garrett, at Callings.ai. You can just ping me. If for some reason it doesn't work or you didn't type the right code in, I will provision your account. So, or if you don't remember that, bug Christy and connect us. But
and yes, if you're putting that code in, you're going to get it even if it's on the call. And Garrett is generous and accessible, and I am thrilled to death that we have this tool available, and that Garrett is so generous. He's such a great resource. So thank you so much, Garrett. I really appreciate this. And
thank you for letting me be here. Really appreciate it.
Well, and I think we're going to want you again, because I know that once people get used to this tool, that there'll be all kinds of questions about how to really leverage it. And if you're willing to come back, we'd love to have you.
Can I make one final comment?
Yes.
Every page of our site, there's a blue give feedback button. That goes directly to me and to my CTO co-founder, Philippe. Generally, we respond within hours. And so I encourage you guys, if you find a problem, have a question, struggle with something, just hit that button. The way we've set it up is you hit it, there's a panel, you just type it in and hit send. And what we found is that we get amazing feedback from our users, and it's dramatically improved the product. So we love that. We want to hear about it. We're early stage, right? So we want great users, and we want users that help us continue to make this really a great platform.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much. And everyone, we hope to see you in 2 weeks, I think. We have, or is it next week? we have biohacking and corporate athlete discussions. So excited about that. But thank you so much, Garrett, and we'll be
Thank
in
you.
contact. And bye, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.